Alrighty then, folks. Let's go through another. The 50cc there, keeping it easy for now. And we will check out shit as it goes here. Oh, gotta love them little vape hits that are kind of like a little 30-second trip. Alright. Alright. Pretty sure at the higher levels that don't work. Well, in the bet at the 150 Grand Prix, I would have just now, I'd be in last place right now after that stunt. Oh, look at that, kaboom, boom, wow, I'm kind of high off of that hat. Bam! Alright. I don't even know what these coins necessarily do at this point. Bam! Alright, that sucked. Why are those blue turtle shells always going after me? This is horseshit. They should go after the guy in last place. That's how the real world works. That's what I would do if I was the blue turtle shell. Go fuck up the guy in last place. Oh shit, bam. Oh fuck. Ooh, some more coins. I hope these coins do something. Yeah, finish.
And up to 50% off flights. So just dream about that trip. Book it with Priceline.
Shy Guy Bazaar. I really like these new controllers.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Hey everybody, it's Jon Stewart. It's the Weekly Show podcast with Jon Stewart. Welcome to the show. I'm trying desperately not to push myself up out of my chair for the beginning. For some reason, that's my set. So now I'm gonna. You can't see
What the fuck, man?
It's the first show of our second season, and I'm beginning it on a slouch, trying to prevent myself.
I am not doing something right here.
Wednesday. God knows what's going to be happening by Thursday. Ukraine Ukraine could have destroyed the rest of Russia's nuclear-equipped planes. It could have not. This whole thing could be over. I just have no damned idea. But I will say the one thing that did catch my eye, and this is, it almost seems like a minor occurrence, but they're pulling the name off of the USS Harvey Milk, and it just reminds me of what this administration is and the priorities of this administration.
Luigi really is a piece of shit.
Ridiculously just petty and malicious way in which they're going about. I mean, for God's sakes, they're removing the name. Now, Harvey Milk, for those who don't know, was an activist for gay rights. He was assassinated in San Francisco, along with the mayor of San Francisco, by, I think, kind of a right-wing nutbag who claimed that fast food had driven him insane. And, you know, I think the guy's already served like, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, some shit like that. But the guy was in the military. He was like a submarine, you know, he was kicked out of the military. He got a less than honorable discharge out of the military because he was gay and fought for gay rights and was an important figure, not just in that movement, but for people who wanted the military to represent the actual people of the country. The military, I think, is always strongest when it is reflective of everyone that it is protecting. That's just, it makes it a more representative and better force. And they just removed the name. And not only did they remove the name for no fucking reason, they did it at the beginning of Pride Month, which is just, again, the dickishness is the point. In what way? Why would you do that other than it's a move of hostility and nothing else?
All right.
You know? Oh, I'm gonna break up with my significant other. Oh, now? No. I'm gonna wait for their birthday. I'm gonna wait until it can have the most shitty impact on all that. And it's just one more dispiriting note on this this crew that can't be out of there fast enough. It's just a constant stream of hostile moves because of how privacy takes your personal data off the market by reaching out to these data brokers.
All right, let's go.
Personal data removal and dealing with their objections. Take your personal data back with Incogni. Did I put an exclamation point on the end of that? Because that's what I was trying to do. Go to incogni.com/Stewart. Use code Stewart to get 60% off an annual plan. Incogni.com/Stewart. Use code Stewart. 60% off your annual plan to take your personal data off the market today. Ooh, where you been, Incogni? Where you been all my life? Because one of the things that I think suits you so well is you have a directness. Like, there's not a lot of wasted verbiage and things. You're very clear about what you want to do. You know, I'm down with Collins. I think you're.
All right. Hey, it looks like there's his genie thing.
Just let Collins ask the questions. That'll be fine. But do you find yourself replaying or forward contingency?
Take that, bitch.
Your process.
I would never, ever compare myself to an athlete as someone who appreciates athletes and loves sports, and is like a diehard Alabama fan. But I do think in terms of how it operates on a daily basis and how quickly it has to move, you do kind of have to think of it where, like, if the play happened and you didn't, you know, catch the ball or do your job on that, you kind of just have a few seconds to think about it and move forward and try to improve.
You're going with a Ted Lasso, got to be a goldfish. You gotta forget the play and move to the next one.
I don't know if you should forget it. I think you should keep it in because you have so much to remember as a White House reporter. And
there's another one of those packages.
You know, if something happens or an interview doesn't go the way I wanted, or a press briefing I didn't follow up on the question the way I wanted to, I leverage over it for a little bit and then I move on because there's another moment coming up.
Was there one that stuck in your craw in a way that surprised you?
There have been some. I think there was one, there's been some press conferences where, one thing I learned really quickly during Trump, which I actually think was great training as a reporter, is becoming a reporter, because You just have to be on all the time, and there's not really a ton of room for error. And so, I was in the briefing where during COVID, when there weren't a ton of reporters because we were rotating to keep the presence small. When Trump came in and we were prepared to ask about ventilators or swabs or something, and Trump comes in with this DHS employee and they're talking about sunlight being a potential cure and a treatment for COVID. And what you have to do, I think, as a reporter is just be ready, be quick on your feet, be ready to adjust. You could have the best question going in there on ventilators or swabs and really need an answer to it, but you have to move on if the news is changing or there's something, you're kind of constantly registering what's important and what's urgent. In terms of forward thinking, though, I really try to be forward thinking. Like, I always keep a running list. I was just updating one yesterday for someone I'm trying to interview of people I want to interview, who I have right now no shot of interviewing. They have not said yes. They're not even answering my calls.
Right.
But I keep a running list.
This is a physical list that you keep on your
It's on my notes, on my
Who's number one? Let's go. Let's get it done.
Well, I don't know if I believe in manifesting
Collins,
if I say it on the podcast.
I'm gonna doggedly pursue this like I'm Kaylin Collins in the White House
Bam.
until you give me a satisfactory answer. How large is the list? Let me put it that way.
It's constantly evolving because sometimes I do succeed and can knock people off of it. But like around the election,
We're just gonna say we won. His strategy is generally, when he loses, he just finds a way to say that was the victory.
or maybe both.
A
And
little bit of both.
sometimes his attorneys will go to him and say, this is the view of this. This is how we're going to sell it. So it wasn't totally is that was kind of coming on and they were saying that they didn't want it. But it was a remarkable moment to be in there, and then also to see President Bukele's response, which was he was saying, "Well, I can't smuggle a terrorist."
Still not figured out what
Obviously,
the
that's not what
fuck
I was
gets me a
asking.
boost here.
But that's how he answered it.
But that's why I meant it felt like they were putting on.
I
a
know that
play,
gets me a
and the
boost.
self-satisfaction that they had about this little play was what I found so dispiriting. And I don't know if that's like when you're in that room. So let's say it ends, right? Do you then have an interaction with Pam Bondi?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Off camera, or any of them where they go, yeah, gotcha. What are you gonna do? I guess it's up to Bukele, and they all giggle because they know we're paying the guy $6 million or whatever it is that we're paying him. Did they acknowledge to you the play they're putting on, or
What the hell is that shit, man?
Yes and no, because one, you're ushered out. The meeting is continuing. You
Yeah, good job, whoever threw that.
technically the top of it, but obviously you stay in there much longer, typically with
Well,
Trump,
hey,
because he does take so many questions.
these things, I think.
Which I think is a good thing.
Alright, hold
but
on.
then you leave basically.
This
and
is
you
where-
go through the press offices, you're escorted
okay,
back to the
so-
press briefing area, and so.
Alright,
I heard from a lot
apparently
of
turning
officials that there were some
around
who were
is
watching,
hard.
And some who were in the room.
But that
Just
thing there,
held
that's
down
that's
and
a
how,
different
how they answered those
outfit
questions.
for Luigi.
what was their perception generally of what they saw?
It's
a
hard,
PR
if not
job.
impossible, to
And
turn around.
Publicly, they say this because they
I've
also
just
arguing
learned.
in court filings that they didn't have to return him, despite what judges here were saying and wanting to do a review process of the communications that had happened. And so you do have some people who will acknowledge
That done
it's
boomeranged
not
on
a case,
ya,
that
huh?
They are obviously arguing it in the courts for a reason. But then also that they believe that they will ultimately win this and that they didn't have to facilitate his return, which obviously they still have not done.
Do you feel like you get better answers from people when it's not for attribution and not for the cameras?
Yes.
That's sort of getting back to my last point, that the play that they're putting on is the play, and then you
This
have to
is like
facilitate
Bowser's
the real.
airship.
So you feel like the answers you get off camera are better than on.
I think it depends on who you're speaking with. At the White House officials, yes. I mean, this is a tale as old as time. They're more candid when they speak anonymously about something. But when we do the show at night, we're interviewing people on camera about this, and you're kind of operating with the information you know in your head about what people are saying on background or off the record, and you kind of use that to your ability to be able to ask better questions because you know what's really going on behind the scenes.
Is it a breach of ethics to be able to say afterwards, I spoke with the people in the White House afterwards, they did not want to be.
Oh shit! Okay, there's the
Does
hole.
that limit your access to then say?
See again, I'm glad there's a little bit of auto steering here because I would have not gone towards that on my own.
As long as we can, we are not going to be giving people back. You know, I guess what I'm getting at is the truth, the real information. I've always felt like in the green rooms of
right.
you get more truthful
I
information.
do believe that is the last one of this one.
Consequences of what they say.
Yeah, but I think people should say on camera what they actually think, and so
completely.
But we think about this when we have guests on the show because we like the people who, you know, maybe our audience disagrees with them or maybe they don't like what they're saying, but I like people who come on and will tell you genuinely what they think, and they're not saying one thing.
But that courage is in short supply, Caitlin. The courage of people to do that is in very short supply.
But I think when you put people on the spot in the moment in an interview and you're like, do you really think that, or is that, you know, really the case here? I think that moment can be in and of itself revealing, because I don't think that you should say, you know, report one thing and have one thing, but actually know other stuff. I think you should report what you know and say that publicly. And you know, that is why I try to be very direct in my questioning, or you know, in our interviews at night, we don't have a lot of fluff because, you know, no one really gets away with an easy interview.
But that's what I like
new
about
character,
it. And that's
Daisy.
what I think is what makes it successful and
Coins. Okay, collected 100 coins and I've unlocked a new vehicle. All right.